My bad.
So, after surviving a mess last week, I figured I needed something to cheer me up. Something cute. Something relatable. Something funny. Something that was... Enter Aggretsuko, or Aggretsuko, which was initially a bunch of short animations, each roughly around 1 minute, and it followed the life of a red panda, Aggretsuko, as she deals with the mundanity of being a Japanese office worker.
Wait a minute. Did Retsuko really? Target eliminated.
It's a comedy-based show, and at times comedy-based shows from other countries don't really hit with me. Oh, of course there are jokes that do land, but in this show it does hit a lot more than often.
Did Retsuko belt out some kind of death metal song?
Target down.
And why these jokes work is due to presentation. There's a quote that has stuck with me ever since I heard it.
There's no such thing as a bad idea, just poorly executed awesome ones.
And yes, you wise guys in the comments, I have watched Vampire Diaries. There, are you happy now? Back on the point, to me, when I hear the term bad joke, I think a poorly executed joke. And how a joke can be poorly executed has a lot of factors to it. The timing, how the person sounds, and even the word focus can be a factor.
You do not use the words hunt and quail together in a sentence. You don't hunt for quail. You might track quail. You might walk behind them, wondering what kind of a miserable fuck existence do you have?
Another reason is that the verbal jokes in Japan tend to fall flat through translation, and that's how the language is structured. And that right there is one of the reasons why straight up jokes like that are hard to translate without changing the subject matter or messing it up. It's this linguistic barrier that has comedy in Japan more focused on slapstick puns than being overly silly, at least from what I've observed. However, with Retsuko, while there are those over-the-top moments...
There's no pressure, take your time!
I mean, obviously, there are also verbal jokes that do work in this. For example...
Did you have a baby yesterday morning? I heard the delivery was a tough one!
Of course not! Did I even look pregnant? It's not funny, Beniko!
To be fair, we do have to remember that this is a medium that relies more on visual stimulation, so of course there's going to be more of a focus on visual gags.
Okay, scratch that. They're looking right at me.
Ugh! He's creepy.
But they're both higher up in the food chain. They're not gonna come to me. All right.
Ah! He's even creepier!
She's right here!
And then there's jokes like this.
You remind me of someone. Ha! You look like one of those Sanrio characters.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Nothing like a little meta humor. Oh, and if you don't get the joke, well, Sanrio is the company involved with the show, and you may be more familiar with their biggest and more iconic IP, Hello Kitty. But what helps with the jokes is the solid voice acting. We've got quite the names behind this cast. For the titular character Retsuko, we've got Erica Mendez, who you might know better as...
How about my foot makes contact with your ass? Sound good to you? You're dumber than I thought if I have to go out of my way to explain it to you.
You're really starting to freak me out.
Hyde to the Hyena is voiced by Benjamin Diskin, who voiced Joseph Joestar.
Would it really be all that wrong if I took a peek through the keyhole to check things out?
There in the background, Retsuko booty.
Oh, nice!
Damn it, I was hoping that this would be the one video where there wouldn't be a Joe joke in it! Damn it, all the heck! The guy who plays the pig boss, Ton, John Peterdorf, is Roadhog from Overwatch. I think that's a bit too much on the nose. The point is, the voice acting behind the dub is actually pretty good and adds to the reactions and the comedy that Aggretsuko has. Because sometimes the right delivery of a joke can make the joke work or not work. Another reason why the comedy works, at least to me, is the relatability. And I think a lot of people who are getting into the show can relate to the characters in some way or another. Perhaps you have an overbearing and terrible boss who breathes down your back.
We looked at your browsing history. Your cache. Cache?
Maybe you've got that one coworker who's a thought who sucks up to the boss.
Mr. Tone, I'm so sorry to bother you. I think these are right, but I just don't know.
I could look them over for you if you like.
I'm sorry for giving
You ignorant slut.
Maybe you just got some friends who are trollish.
God, you were such a control!
There's a reason why a lot of comedians use relatable comedy. It's a means of establishing a connection with the audience, and that's something that you can do if you want to make your audience laugh in that regard. Of course, I'm not saying you need relatability to make your audience laugh. It depends on what you're going for. This is just one of the ways that the show is able to make me laugh and enjoy it. However, just because this anime is really good, and I do recommend it, there are a few things that are a bit standoffish to me. The reuse of scenes. So I decided to look at the original 1-minute shorts of Aggretsuko. How couldn't I? I like the show and I wanted to see more. And one thing that caught my eye was that there were a few times that scenes were being reused from there and in this series.
Thank you for shopping it out. Take your time looking around. Sure. That's just adorable.
Come on, we didn't like these scenes the first time.
I'm just browsing.
We think that customer service with a smile is the Alp difference.
Deja vu. It's not enough to really detract from it, especially having seen either series before watching, but just a little something that I noticed. Reuse the jokes. One aspect of comedy that people often take for granted is the unexpected factor. Sometimes comedy can be great because it defies your expectations. An example is this. So, why did the chicken cross the road? No. Oh, come on, why did the chicken... I'm just gonna walk away. Whether or not you found that funny is subjective, but it certainly did go against your expectations of what would happen. The one thing that can kill a joke is predictability. Whether it was that you already seen the joke, or you know the material well enough to see what's gonna happen, it's like a mystery story. Once you know the who, what, and why, it loses its impact, and the same can be said for comedy. And unfortunately, Aggretsuko does fall into that camp somewhat, especially when we have the use of the death metal face. Once again, this is probably just me, since I get the same vibe of One Punch Man's main gag. Luckily, this is fixed with other jokes in both. Luckily, this isn't the only joke in either series, so it's not a big issue to me either. But despite these flaws, I greatly recommend the anime. It's fun, the characters are extremely likable and relatable, and the episodes only are like 10 to 15 minutes long, so you can easily binge watch the entire 10-episode series in a single night. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below about what you guys think. And if you managed to get this part of the video, type in the comments.
You're not helping!
I'm Trash Common, and remember to examine your fandom.